Yeah, good afternoon everybody, and welcome to the AGM, the annual general meeting of CO-LAN. This part of the meeting is really also for governmental reasons, because we have to deliver actually an activity report, we have to deliver a financial report. It's the procedure as every year, and at the end we have to actually vote and approve these reports, and only the full members are actually having a vote to do so. With the activity report, I want to give a little bit an overview over what happened between the last AGM and the AGM which we have got now here in Linde. And the report is structured actually in 4 sections. We first give a small overview over the membership and the management. I want to make you aware of the forum, the websites, and also a couple of publications. And then we move on to very short summaries of the special interest groups. The extensive summaries you already have heard this morning from the M&T SIG and from the Thermo SIG, and you will also hear it this afternoon from the Interoperability SIG. So I keep that very short, but it's an important part of CO-LAN, actually one of the most important parts. We also started some strategic activities, and we will review very briefly about the progress of these activities in the last slides. We have got 6 full members, 65 cooperative members, associate members, and 24 individual members. So that's in total almost 100 members who joined the CO-LAN. As you know, since last year we have actually also membership fees, and we split the associated members in Group A, B, and C. And we got actually 2 new members, a Group B member, that's ECA Engineering, and the representative is Jens Peter Hansen. And we have got actually a new Group C member, Upstream Development and Engineering Incorporated. And they are Group C member because they don't sell actually CAPE software, so they are not a software vendor. They might do that in the future, and then actually also the categorization may change. With regard to the membership, we made sure that we are in accordance with all European, UN and US regulations. And one of the consequences is also that actually PSRE is no longer a member of CO-LAN in 2022. This is a Russian company. And this is done in a mutual agreement. Approval and categorization of the new members is always done by the management board. And we decided actually to introduce and to structure this in a decision tree to make it more transparent. I will not go here in detail over this decision tree, but I invite you actually to look at the slides and study it. And if you have got any questions or suggestions, please write an email to Michelle or to Florence or to me, and we will see whether we can change it or whether we can incorporate actually the suggestions. The funding model does not change or did not change compared to last year, and will not change actually until the end of CO-LAN, which is in 2025. Then we have to actually renew the organization. The organization, CO-LAN itself, is only a temporary organization. So the full members contribute with 10,000 euros per year. And then, as said before, we have got actually Group A and B members, which are categorized by the number of employees. Bigger companies, we ask that they support our activities with 2,000 euros a year. Smaller companies with only 100 euros per year. And all the remaining associate members, university and non-software vendors, are free of charge. We were very happy to see that actually this new funding model is a success. We have got 11 cooperative associated members in Group A and 10 cooperative associated members in COBIA. And we will also see in the financial report that this is really a big contribution also to the budget of CO-LAN. Just to visualize that a little bit, here we see the last couple of years going back from 2016 until 2021, where we have got now the results. But I also added actually the estimate for 2022 and what we budgeted for 2023. When we started actually our projects like COBIA and the test suite, we noticed that actually our expenses are much higher than the incomes and the revenues from the 6 full members. So this is this horizontal bar here. And we saw that actually our reserves rapidly declined, and there was the projection that we would run out of money very soon. So that's where we decided actually to introduce the funding model. And indeed, by doing that, we will be able to stabilize actually our finances. And for this year, we run our organization with a small loss. Next year, the estimate is, or for 2022, the estimate is even that we make a little bit of profit, but the years to come, we will spend the money which we actually get from our members. I must say here also that this year, and that's the reason why you see actually less expenditure for 2022, our bank account was blocked. So we were not able to access actually our money which we had on the bank, and we were not able to pay our contractors like Malcolm, Michel, Jasper, Luik and Marcus and Florence. That also to a certain extent slowed down actually the project work, because we could not really accelerate any of these things without being certain that we can pay. And the reason for that is that something got horrible wrong with the communication with the bank. We were supposed to fill in additional forms due to the sanction against Russia. These were not received in time, and any kind of reminder ended up not in our mailbox. So here, once more, a very big thank to Philippe, who put a lot of effort in following up and actually unblock our bank account again. We hope that this is not happening another time. The management board, so these are the 6 full members which you see here in the list, control and are still the decision-making board of CO-LAN. We usually meet very regularly every month for a 1.5 hour meeting, plus we have got twice a year a physical meeting, and there are around several other topics, also additional meetings. Also this year we were able to have the physical meetings, which was very nice, because in Corona times all of these were virtual. For the daily operations we have got actually, of course, Michel. He is still the heart of the organization. Unfortunately or fortunately, he is retiring January 1st, 2023. We are lucky he will still continue some services after his retirement to CO-LAN, but it really flags to us that we have to look for a succession of Michel. So this is really something which is very high on our priority list for the year to come. We were very happy that we actually could make Florence enthusiastic for CO-LAN, and she joined us, and she is now our office manager. And since April, she is doing the invoicing, she is doing the contract management, the membership management, also the digital communication. Maybe Florence, if you are here, maybe you very quickly introduce yourself.
Yes, thank you, Richard.
Once. It's a pity that you are not here with us.
Yeah.
But,
next time.
Exactly, yeah.
Well, first of all, I'm very happy to participate in this first annual meeting for me, and also in the General Assembly. As Richard said before, I joined CO-LAN 5 months ago as office manager, And well, today I'm supporting the management board with all kinds of tasks and also dealing, for instance, with invoicing, contract management, and involved in the communication of the network. So that's also where we will work with the management board on in the coming months. And well, yeah, I'm looking forward to listen to all upcoming presentations because I learned a lot. So thank you and happy to be here.
Thanks a lot, Florence. We're also very happy. And we have got also Malcolm, and he is the lead for the certification and the test suite. He does a lot of the project management, and we are also very happy that you are still engaged in CO-LAN and that you help us. I also have to say a very, very big thank you to Breen. Breen was our secretarial support and was helping a lot since March 2014 in keeping actually the organization up and running, and in particular also supporting the management board. He, for instance, wrote the wiki page and did also a lot of dissemination for CO-LAN. Looking back, he actually already was in touch with Cape Open already in the 90s, where he got involved in various levels. And part of his work is now taken over by Florence, but once again, I think he deserves a very, very big thank you. And hopefully he is enjoying his retirement. Then of course we also have got the contracts, where we actually set up the contracts in such a way that for each project piece we do dedicated work orders, and we have got actually a shell contract with Amsterdam and Ziando. This is Loic and Marcus. They work mainly on the test suite and software services, and Jasper also supports them for the test suite. And Jasper, of course, does all the COBIA implementations. Let's move to the next topic, where I would like you to talk you through a little bit about the usage of Cape Open and the awareness. As every year we try to collect all the technical paper which refer to Cape Open. These you can find on our website. Please go there, check it. There are much more than the two which has been listed here, but I think these two are really a highlight. And one comes from the TU Berlin around Professor Repke, and it's about the optimization of complex distillation configurations, also using Cape Open with thermodynamic models. The other one, and that connects actually directly to Mosaic. As you know, Mosaic also got the Cape Open Award some years back. The other one is about membrane processes for propane recovery from nitrogen purging vents, so a simulation study, and uses actually M&T. If you are about to publish something where you refer to Cape Open or where you mention Cape Open technology, please make us aware. Send an email to Florence or send an email to Michelle, then we can actually add that to our reference list. As a member, you can access the repositories. The repositories contain actually all our software projects, but it also contains the type libraries or the symbol server. So if you're on the website, you see at the top actually a button which is a member login, where you can access these projects. And then you can download the software as well as the documentation. Moreover, we're also storing actually a lot of documents for the SIGs and also for the management board, which are not always, which are protected or only for the members of these subgroups accessible. So if you're a member, I think it's always good to check whether you have got access. If not, please contact us and we will let you that you can access it. There was also last year some work on the website. We upgraded actually the WordPress, and we also moved the website to a new hosting provider. We were very lucky to have a contractor who did that for us. The website contains actually all kind of news posts. Usually we add around 70 a year to the website, mainly done by Michel and now also by Florence. And you can always subscribe actually to the feed via RSS, or you can sign up to the Cape Open newsletter, which hopefully every of you gets it, and then you can follow actually all the updates and news once per month. The website also contains actually a continuous updates on the SIG activities, so it's always interesting to check that. And it also has got actually a list of your PMEs or PMCs or of your company. So again, please check the entries on the website, and if you think there needs to be an update done, then please contact Michel at the CTO. We also have got a Cape Open Wikipedia page, which was done by Green. At this point, there was no update for the last year. Again, if somebody has good suggestions, we are more than happy to discuss them and make modifications if required. Another central means of keeping the communication with the members alive is certainly the forum. The forum targets actually the audience of end users for process simulations with their questions, but also very much developers. So it is used actually for discussing topics around COCO, development of PMCs, unit operations, property packages. And over the years we see actually a constant usage. We have got 340 users subscribed at this point. So there is a slight increase compared to last year. And I think in July, for instance, 69 people actively used the forum. There is also almost one post per business day. And if you look at the accumulated numbers, we have got now on the forum around 2,400 posts in total, where there's a lot of knowledge. So it's worth going over the individual topics and see whether there's something which is of interest for you. Now we come to the heart of the organizations. These are really the special interest groups. They are responsible for the maintenance and development of the Cape Open interfaces. We are always looking for people who would like to join. So if you're really interested in developing the standards, then participate and contact Michel. At this point in time, we have got actually 3 SIG groups. The Interoperability group, which is led by Malcolm, the Method and Tools SIG, which is led by Bill, and the Thermodynamic SIG, which is led by Sergey and Jasper. The Unit SIG was not active last year. We are planning to have a meeting actually in the coming weeks in order to decide for the next steps, since there are some requests actually to the Unit SIG which needs to be addressed. And there is still the pre-refraction documentation which should be completed. So we will see how we proceed with this. The interoperability SIG activities, you will have got a more extensive report on that one from Malcolm, I think after this presentation here. So I will give only a very short overview. So the main activity was the development, the further development and the management, I must say, of the test suite development from CO-LAN. This is very important that the Interop SIG is coordinating all the activities there. Moreover, there were also regular meetings with the M&T SIG, and there were significant contributions to the version document. For the plans in 2018, 2023. The plan is to further actually to support the test suite, because this is one of our central projects which we have, and we have to progress that. And then also to prepare a release of the versioning protocol document. Again, it would be very good if we would have got an additional member, and one of our ambition is really to recruit somebody who would like to join actually the Interoperability SIG. The M&T SIG is a very active SIG and does a lot of work around COBIA. So the maintenance, the development and the testing. I think you saw this slide already earlier, and Michael gave a much better summary than I do. But there the main topics is really COBIA maintenance, work on phase 3, and I think one of the big achievements is that the optimization of the transport for the specific marshalling is now initiated, that the on-the-fly proxy generation is also initiated, and in particular that we had also a maintenance release of COBIA phase 2. The work on the threading model we saw from Jasper in the presentation this morning, and as I mentioned before, there's quite a lot of interaction with the Interoperability SIG in order to support the certification testing, but also the versioning. We also saw from the M&T SIG report that actually developing the test specification and common interface specification is quite some work, and this has been now done for parameters, utilities, identification and collection, as we saw this morning. The program for next year is also extensive. So again, we continue the maintenance of COBIA phase 2. We would like to complete the documentation of COBIA threading architecture and possibly also send out a review for comment. And then actually the work on COBIA phase 3 work package will continue. And the aim is to have really a release of version 1.2.1 with the marshalling and the multi-threading support. I think the test case specification is also an ongoing activity which needs to be pursued. And then there additional for the interface specification, Cape Open native persistence interfaces. We are looking to develop for the versions 1.2 and above, and rewrite the parameter interface specification document, also for 1.2 and above, as well as incorporating the errata and clarifications into the identification interface specification, which also concerns the versions 1.1 and above. As well, I think there's also the ambition to finalize the reporting and manager specification, which would concern the version 1.1 and above. And I mentioned the work with the Interoperability SIG will continue also next year. This brings me to the last summaries of the SIGs, the Thermo SIG. We saw there already the summary from Jasper and Sergey this morning. So some of the work for the chemical reaction specification document has been done. It has been revised according to the comments which were received from Lin Engineering. There were a lot of comments, and as Jasper already mentioned this morning, the clarifications were brought into the document, but it also led to some design changes in the interface specification. That also shows how important it is if there is a review for comments, that actually this is really done and the SIGs get good feedback. The specifications document for the common manager interface, Jasper also talked about that one. So the requirements of interface design was developed. At the moment we have got 15 requirements and use cases, and the SIG is active in finalizing the first draft. The work for this year, or for the year to come, is the support of the certification test suite. So define the test. This is very labor intensive, so that a lot of effort will go into it. Maintain and manage actually the existing interface specification. So this is one of the core tasks which every SIG also needs to look after. Moreover, there is the ambition to manage a common interface proposal, hand it over to the M&T SIG for finalization, and maybe suggest to the unit SIG a unit manager. So another reason to make the unit SIG more active in the months to come. Finally, but not least, I think the Thermo SIG also would like to publish the chemical reaction interface specification after having acted on the RFC and published the IDL and the Siminet. This brings me to the next part of the presentation, where we look really at the strategic activities. So not only on the development of the specification and the standards, but also on our projects which we have. One of them, and our task which we have, one of them is certainly the Cape Open distribution. CO-LAN has got the task to distribute actually the Cape Open type libraries, but also the primary interop assemblies. We established in the past already an automated build process, and we have got a solution for a controlled rollout for the type libraries, which also includes the rollout of extensions or new versions of Cape Open. There we are now new extensions brought to Cape Open, to the Cape Open standard version 1.1. So that's why there was no need really for a new distribution of the type libraries, and the latest version is version 2.1.2, and dates back from September 23rd of last year. We also put a lot of effort into the development of the Cape Open middleware, COBIA. So there was a release in last year, or this year, for the COBIA version 1.2.0.9, and that was in March. It shows the active maintenance of the phase 2 deliverables. If we look at the statistics, actually the development kit has been downloaded approximately 100 times, and the runtime library is approximately 200 times. So there is quite a usage of COBIA. I think this is also becomes clear with the third point, that also commercial applications are actually using and expand on COBIA, and apparently we will also see that in the presentation from OGT. The COBIA threading architecture has been reviewed and improved, and consensus has been reached here. And again, many thanks to the method and tool SIG, who did a lot of work in preparing that and looking after the developments there. For COBIA phase 3, the first work package out of 4 is almost completed. So that consists the marshalling and the multi-threading support, and hopefully that will be released soon. I think in the Q1 next year, that's at least the planning. So we allocated also some budget for further development in order to accelerate the development of COBIA for next year. Cape Open certification is one of our important activities which we would like to pursue also for the future. And so here in particular, minor updates to the test suite design where necessary and has been done. There were prototyped test specification documents it's created, also with the help of Michel and Marcus. And these documents were then also used to assess the workload for the documentation itself and for the implementation. And here mainly we had been focusing on the thermodynamic property packages tests. So that work will continue in the coming months. And again, we are aiming for a release of the test suite. Once we have got this test suite released, we can further pursue actually the certification. At this point, the intentions is regarding the commercial aspect is that the test suite will be free for CO-LAN members, and also there will be a free certification for the members. We also have been thinking about, and this is a slide from last year, we have been thinking about CAPE Open version 2.0. So what do we really require for the future of CAPE Open? And here in particular, we identified at the time actually the three main points: software engineering, where we are already active since a couple of years with the developing of COBIA, where we would like to address the challenges for the future with cloud computing, multi-threading. But also we are thinking about the developments of the specifications, ideas which are circling around, for instance, equation-oriented dynamic units or blackboard modeling is still something we need to discuss. Or the thermodynamics to make the interfaces more efficient for multiple calls, the chemical reaction network, the common manager. These were all activities where we partially actually already work on, but where we have to think about what do we want to put actually really in CAPE Open version 2.0, and should it be a breaking change compared to version 1.2. Similarly, the ideas around flow sheets, where there was the idea maybe even to add functionality where you can add, remove units or streams, so make self-modifications to the flow sheet remotely, or to do a sensitivity or error propagation. We will have got actually tomorrow a workshop where we discuss again around all these ideas. But I think one of the things which is very important, we need to identify the needs, and we also require some commitment from the CAPE community or CAPE Open community that we can pursue these. Otherwise, we will divert our efforts in too many activities. So I'm very curious to see that hopefully lively discussion tomorrow, and maybe we can come then to some conclusions. Last year we actually posed some milestones which we would like to achieve, and they were very ambitious, and we didn't achieve everything what we wanted it to achieve if we look at what the list of milestones from last year were. One of the things was certainly that we wanted to make a start with the succession planning for Michel. And I think there we actually progressed quite well, because we were very lucky to find Florence, who is helping us with all the administration and takes over quite the burden of the day-to-day running of CO-LAN also from Michel. So he can concentrate much more on the specifications and on the technical work. We had the ambition for the certification to have a first release. We are almost there, but that will hopefully work out in Q1 2023. Or at least we will be able, hopefully, to present something in the next AGM next year. I think the test suite is a prerequisite for any kind of progress of the certification process and policy. So before we defined the certification policy, we should have got the test suite. And that also includes the third point, where we had the ambition to nominate a certification officer. There also the test suite is prerequisite before we can do that. Then we see what are the actual needs and whether we really have to create actually an office for this or to hire somebody who takes care of it. Or we can combine it with other responsibilities. For COBIA, we wanted to finalize actually the work package 1. Almost there, didn't manage completely. And we also wanted to consolidate the inter-machine marshalling where we progressed, but we're also not yet completely done. The other thing was also offering the language bindings. Here it was also more the management board who was a little bit resistant. As I mentioned before, we needed to have the needs for these language bindings before we really can do it. And honestly, due to the blockage of our bank account, we also couldn't ask additional work from Jasper and from others when we were not able actually to pay them. So that certainly also slowed down the progress of these items. As mentioned, for the roadmap, we don't have got yet a roadmap for COB Open version 2.0. We have got a lot of ideas, but we really have to prioritize them according to the needs before we can put that on paper, the roadmap. So topics for next year's ambitions which we have. We need to further progress with the succession plan for Michel. This really gets a high priority, at least from the board. Of course, we want to have the test suite and the CAPE Open certification. I think this is really a crucial element and a critical element where we would like to have the first release of the test suite next year and a clear view on the certification process and the policy. And of course, COBIA is also very high on our priority list. Finalizing the work package 1, identifying the needs for the language bindings and for the inter-machine marshalling and act accordingly to the needs which expressed. That's, I think, why it's also very important, this workshop tomorrow, where we maybe also have got a chance to talk around these topics. Now we're almost at the end of the presentation for the status report. Again, to all of you, we would like to encourage you to contribute to CO-LAN, contribute with ideas to the self-test suite or use it and test it, your own software with it. Evaluate and feedback on COBIA is very important. And as I mentioned several times, in particular participating in the SIGs is something which would really help our organization very much. With this, I say thank you very much.